Alright, General Code of Regulations, 7th edition, April 1st, 2015. Switching safety, efficiency. While switching, employee must work safely and efficiently avoid damage of the content of the car, equipment, structure, and other property. Do not leave equipment standing where it will be fouled with equipment and with adjacent tracks, cause injury to employees riding on the side of the car or engine on track where the clearance is indicated. Leave the equipment beyond the clearance point, and the clearance point with the time indicated with the visible to determine the clearance point with the standing outside of the rail adjacent to the track. Extend the arms toward the equipment when unable to touch the equipment. Leave the equipment stand at least an additional 50 feet of the track to ensure the equipment is beyond the clearance point. Equipment may be on the left on the main track following on the side switch. The switch is lined with the main track. The switching of the follow main switch for the low switch is lined with the sliding. Yard switching leading following yard track switch is lined with the yard switch lead or industry track beyond the clearance point with the switch leading of the industry. Communication between the crew switching to avoid damage of the engine may be working at both ends of the track of the tracks. Crew switching must have a clear understanding of the movement that has been made. Additional switching precautions following equipment must not be necessarily switch couplings made so that the damage of the equipment loading. Passenger outfit cars or intermodule trailer on flat car boosters, multi-level loads, cars containing livestock, open top loads subject to shifting. Following equipment must not be cut off in the motion, stuck by any car moving under its own momentum. Passenger cars, outfit cars, high-value loads, engine loads, depressed center, flat cars, car loads, modular housing units, articulated solid drawbar connected cars with no more than 2 car bodies. However, when empty, with these cars may be kicked out or but not humped. Scale test cars and roadway equipment. Precautions for the coupling of the movement of cars of the engine. Before coupling to move the cars of the engine, verify that the cars and engines are properly secured and can be coupled and moved safely. Make couplings at speed no more than 4 miles an hour. Stress to select and ensure all the couplings are made. Testing the handbrake. Employees must know how to operate with the type of the brakes they are using. The handbrakes must control to prevent the car move with the test of the brakes to ensure that they are operating properly before they use them. Secure the cars and engines. Do not depend on the air brake with the hold of the train of the engine or cars will play with the left unintended. Apply sufficient number of the handbrakes to prevent movement. If the handbrakes are not adequate, block the wheels. The engine is coupled with the train with the car standing on the grade. Do not relieve the handbrakes until air brake system is fully charged. When the cars move with any of the track, will apply with enough handbrakes to prevent any remaining cars from the moving. Kicking with the dropping cars. Kicking and dropping cars are permitted only when not endangered. Employee with equipment and content of the car with the dropping car with the permitted only on locations specifically indicated with special instructions. Before dropping car with the crew member must fully understand the intended movement. They must verify that the track is sufficient clear with the switch of the handbrake are worn working in accordingly order. Possibly the engine must run on the straight track. The carrier must not be dropped over the spring switches, the dual control switches, gravity switches. Unless otherwise restricted, the gravity switch movement may be utilized where the cars must be repositioned opposite of the engine. No more than 5 cars may be handled at one time when making with the gravity switch move. The handbrakes may be tested to ensure the proper operation. Sufficient handbrakes must be maintained by the crew member to ensure the movement can be controlled with the stop. Even the handbrake of the cars are shiftable low that must be avoided when practical. The cars not allowed to couple with the other equipment. Coupling or moving cars on track where cars are being loaded and unloaded. Before coupling with the move of the car on track with where cars are being unloaded and unloaded, crew members must be sure that all the following have been removed. The clear person in or about the car's platforms, boards, tank car coupling connections, conveyors, load, unloading spout, similar application connection, vehicles, other instruction addition. Be careful to avoid damaged freight, partially loaded cars. Do not handle the cars improperly and evenly load. The exit chip of the fail fall from the car. If the car could derail, overturn. Return any car placed with the loading and unloading of the location was found that it has not been released for the movement. Do not pull empty cars from the unloading facility until the major accumulation of the debris is removed. Ensure the plug type swinging the doors on the cars are properly closed and secured. However, the crew members must not attempt to close the doors. If the plug door is found to open en route, the car may continue in the train to the next location where the mechanical forces are available to close the door. Switching passenger occupied outfit cars. Before switching passenger equipment occupied outfit cars, couple the air hose fully charged with the brake system. Use the automatic brake valve when switching. When coupling passenger cars, the outfit cars stop movement approximately 50 feet before the coupling is made. Have an employee with the ground direct to the coupling and ensure the couplers are fully compressed and stressed to ensure that the knuckles are locked before making the air connections, steam connections, electrical connections. 7 to 10. Movement through the gates or doorways. Before moving the engine, cars, or the other equipment through gates and doorways. Similar openings stop at the end. Ensure the gates and the doorways openings are completely open and secure with the overhead side of the clearance and close to make sure the movement is safe. Do not ride on side of the car, engine, or other equipment while moving through the gate. The doorways are similar openings. Charging necessary air brakes. Do not handle the cars without charging the air brake system unless the cars are to be handled safely with the stop with the required distance necessary. Couple the air hose and charge the brake system on the sufficient number of the cars to control the movement. The movements within 2 spur tracks When shuffling cars into the spur track, control move to prevent damage of the end of the track. Do not do the following style of move at 150 feet, but the end of the track apply with a handbrake necessary for the control to select hand. Have a crew member proceed with any further movement that can be done safely. Move on the crew member's signal. Protection of the employee in the bowl track during humping operations before a train or yard crew member goes between the engine of the cars on bowl track, a couple of air hoses, adjusting a couple of devices before employee performs a maintenance on the bowl track. Protection must be provided against the cars with relief of the hump into the track as follows. Employee request protection must notify the employee controlling the switch that the provided access to the hump of the track where work will occur. Ever being notified switching track controller must be line any of the remote control switch again the movement to the effect of the bowl track apply with the looking of the blocking device to the control for that switch. Switch controller must notify the employee with the protection is provided. The protection will be maintained until the switcher controller is advised that the work is complete when the protection is no longer required. 8 switches.